So E minor pentatonic, 9, 12, 10, 12, 10, 12. We're gonna add a string below that. So it's on the D string, you're gonna be 9, 12. 9, 12, 9, 12, 10, 12, 10, 12. What's nice about the minor and major pentatonic is on the G string, the same fingering is for the string below on the D string. So in the major pentatonic, you can do 12, 14, 12, 15, 12, 15. And then below that is the same. Same goes for the minor pentatonic. What you do on the G string, you do on the G string. Sorry, what you do on the G string is what you do on the D string, and vice versa. We're gonna work on this lick. A couple different ways to play it. The easier way to play it is down pick, hammer on, down pick. So down pick 9 on D, hammer on 12, down pick on 9 again on the G string. And this is a great thing to work on, is a hammer on, and then learn to articulate the different notes with some palm muting, and then learn to bleed through that riff. The hard part is not letting your pinky mute the G string after you've played it, so you have to really attack the pinky from overhead on the string. And really dig in with your picking, or play lightly. So the next part is your pinky's gonna land and you're gonna bend. And your goal from the 12 is that 14. So this is a flat 3. So this is the flat third. So this riff has the flat 7 and the flat third, which are very indicative of the minor scale, minor pentatonic scale. Because the second note we play is the flat 7. And the same note on the 12, on the D string, which is a D, is the same note as the 7 on the G string. So after we bend, pull off, and then go into a tremolo, a vibrato. If you want to sound more professional with your vibrato, wait a little bit, and then go into it. And this is one time where a time where you can go up and down a little bit. And if you have a lot of distortion, this will start to feed back. And if you want to be extra special, what I'm doing here is just holding my fingers on the other strings and letting the G ring out. So if I don't, it might sound like this. And you start to rub the B and it starts to echo a little bit. But this way, I can just angrily vibrate that string and nothing else gets heard. So that's the riff. A harder way to do it is when you pull off. Is to pull off the 12 11. So this is your flat 3 to the 2 to the 1. And then hammer on back to the 12 on the D, which is your flat 7. So we're outlining the 1. We're going to go 3, 2, 7, 1. That's another good riff to work on. So this is a good one here. And this one. What's nice is you can easily kind of let this lick bleed through itself, or you can be very articulate. And if you're lucky, you can get a little... or it can be very fluid. And vibrato a lot. And what's cool about this riff, so this shape here, the 1-4-1-4, take that same shape and move it up an octave. So an octave from this E to this E, and starting on the B on the D string, the 9 here is a B. An octave from that is this shape here. We touched on octaves before. So starting the same shape, that's going to sound a bit familiar. Layla. So that shape higher. Same shape. Now we're right at the bottom of our major pentatonic. So this is a good way to get from minor to major. So play the riff here. And now we have our major pentatonic ideas in that major pentatonic area. Another thing, so you can play that same idea in a major shape. So this goes, bump that up to your major pentatonic on the G. I think it's a Black Sabbath riff. So you can take the same shape. You can't do it with the hammer-ons, but you can use the 1-3-1-3. And make sure when you're playing in the major that you're bending from the 2 to the 3. So that, I guess is not really a shape. It is a shape for the minor and a shape for the major, but you're using different fingers to kind of do the same thing. A hammer on to a bend to a release. So to take that same idea, you can take that down to your D area, so E minor, and then the D mixolydian shape, it's the same. So on the D string and the G string, again, they're the same. So adding in that D string to our pentatonic shape. How I think of where the pentatonic scale starts. If I look at a chord, I go, okay, I'm on a G chord. I immediately think of this G to start a scale. You know, if I'm looking at an F, I would think the F is a half step below. I think of the G string for some, and it's kind of how it's ingrained in a lot of people because this is how they learn their pentatonics. But that's how I always think of a good starting point in my brain is relative to the G string, because I can go above it and I can go below it. And have it. So the G string starts us with a good place for our pentatonic scales. So just remember that if you're playing a major or minor, on the G, the string below it is the same fingering, the same shape. right, let me show you a theory idea. We did a little bit of riffage. Let's work on some theory. I'll do a separate video in case this doesn't load all the way.